What it do? It's part two. Life is like a fortune cookie. You never know what your message will be until you crack the cookie open and read the message on the inside. You may not totally agree with what you have, but in some way you will apply it to your life positively. This is how God reveals wisdom, triumph, trials, chastisement, or even grace and mercy to us through the sweet little things that gives us a new message daily, our own personal cookie lens called life. God uses life to make us more like Him. As a result, we receive discernment, wisdom, guidance, and focus on the eternal goal, which is Christ. Your life may be sweet or it may be just a little crunchy, but just know that God has His hand on you, teaching you something to make you just a little bit more sweeter, a little bit more wiser, and a little bit more stronger than you were before. Change your perspective on your fortune cookie, on your little personal cookie lens called life. God has His hand on you. Don't worry. So last week we talked about being obedient, and I don't think I made obedience clear, so we're just going to clarify what obedience is. I told you I struggled with it, but I didn't tell you what it was. So, obedience means compliance with an order, request, or law, or submission, because you got to submit to the Lord, to another's authority. Submitting to God's authority. That's what being obedient means. Alright. Part 2 is going to be called guided by faith and not by fate, which is commitment. And commitment is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity. It means being loyal. It means being faithful. So at this point, we learning to be what? Faithful. You got it. You got it. All right. So it's not by luck or by fate that God chose you to do or perform His will or duties on this earth. It is not by surprise, but by design that you were chose to be a light for someone for their coming into Christ or their return back to Christ. So after you've given your yes to God, you're being obedient, you're submitting to His will, you've thrown out your trash because your house is stanky, He did a whole renovation, and so now you're at a point where you're like, okay, God, I said yes, what's my next step? So let me tell you, here we go, alright? Psalms 33:8, it says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye. That's the NIV version. And then the NLT version says, the Lord says, I will guide you along the best pathway for your life. I will advise you and watch over you. So this is where faith and trust and just loving God sets in. So God says, Jesus says, I will instruct you down the pathway to life. Like, I will advise you. I'm going to give you some advice and some counsel, and I'm going to watch over you. So you got all of this, and you're just like, okay, so how do I do that? And it's by faith. So, Psalms 23:3 says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So, we know what a valley is. A valley is a low place, what we consider a low place. If you were in the mountains and you were at the very bottom, that means you're in the valley. Just a hint. So, yea, though you walk through the valley, you at the bottom, you giving your yes to God, so everything doesn't look as vibrant anymore. Alright? Through the shadow of death. So, death will pertain to the world, because the world is death. Right about now, if you're going to be of the world, it means you're basically dead spiritually, but you're called to be salt of the earth. You're called to be the light for other men to see who Christ truly is. And so there's a shadow because death wants to overtake you, but because you're a light, you're the bold piece that the world needs to see. All right, so you're in the valley and you're light. So you will fear. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. That means you like totally and solely trust God to just do everything that he needs to do towards the enemy, and just guard you and guide you and lead you, because you trust him to do that. You don't have to fear, because God is with you. You know he's with you. He's all-knowing. He's omnipotent. He's omniscient. He's everywhere at all times. So thy rod and thy staff, they cover me. The rod is the thing that the shepherd used to count the people and count the sheep. And to name, and he named them. So if he called your name and you weren't there, like, he was going to go after and find you. All right. And then the staff is the thing that guided sheep to wherever the purified still waters was, the green pastures, because sheep can't really see. We the sheep of God. We are the sheep of his pastors. Okay. So that means we don't really see. We don't have clear vision. That means we need guidance from the Lord. And so that means you can't lean to your own understanding, because wisdom comes from the Lord. And with all the knowledge in the world, some of it still is irrelevant to me being in alignment to Christ. There are a lot of things that I don't need to know, but if I have the wisdom of the Lord, then I'm A-okay, all right? So Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. That means your heart posture needs to be in the right place. And lean not to your own understanding. Ding dong. You don't know everything. So at this point, you got to let God take control. And in all your ways and everything you do, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. So that means the prerequisite to making it to your destination and your purpose is to trust God. And it sounds like it's easy, but it's really like, it's not as hard, but it's not as easy either. It takes time to develop. Like, faith is like a muscle. It develops over time, through tests and trials. I say that, got to be a little real with you, okay? So I'm going to end with this. So we trust Siri and Googleisha to give us all the answers. And I never seen Siri before in my life, but I know she gonna take me to the right place. Like, I have no doubt. And I have no doubt because I trust her. Like, I trust the ability of her knowledge, because she know a little bit more than I do. And I know she's not gonna take me to a destination, prayerfully, that's unrealistic. You get what I'm saying? So that's how God is. You don't see God. You don't know where God... You give me a description, you don't really know what he look like. But at this point, you just gotta trust and know that he's gonna lead you to your purposeful destination, and you're not gonna have all the answers. Like, if Shaquanda was like, sis, let's go, I'm gonna take you to your purpose, and Shaquanda not good with directions, you're not gonna believe Shaquanda. You're gonna say, Shaquanda, go take a seat in the back, because you're not good with directions. But because you know God is all-knowing, you know he has a destiny and a purpose on your life, you're going to say, hey, I know God got something for me. And even though I don't know exactly where I'm going to trust every step that I take with him. And it's just like the streets. Like, there's there's roads, there's interstates. And although you don't know where they may lead to, there's a destination for you somewhere. And so you have to get in your car. That means you have to trust God and put on the full armor of God and just be led. And be willing to know that, hey, I don't know where I'm going. I'm like Abraham, all right? I'm walking to the Lord, tell me to stop. Wherever he lead me, And you just got to trust God and know that he knows all. He's for you. He's not against you. He wants you to be righteous. He wants you to be holy. And he's still going to have fun. You can bump a little music in your car on your way to your purpose. You can have a little fun, but that doesn't mean, like, get out your car, be of the world, and just be out here living lavish. It don't really work like that. You can't get out your car and walk in the street and don't think you're going to get hit. It don't work like that, all right? So I just want to say, like, put your faith in God. He'll direct your path, and know that He has His hand on your life and He's watching over you. So, I got some scriptures for you. Alright. So, I want you to read John 15:14 through 15. You are Jesus' friend because you obey His command, and therefore everything God told Him, He has given to you. Alright. Psalm 145:18. Psalms 34:15 through 18. And 1 Peter 3:12. And I want you to know that it's never easy to serve God. It's never easy, but it's always worth it. One of my biggest challenges was obeying the Lord and having faith that He will bring me out of any situation. But since I've done it, I've cried a lot. I've prayed a lot. I've needed some counsel. I've needed a lot, but through it all, I see that I'm growing, And at this point, I don't need to know my destination because I might run from it, whatever He got planned for me. But I'm trusting Him through every step of the way, and that's how you have to be. You have to have an open mind, an open heart, and an open spirit. And so, with that, I say that I love you, and we're gonna walk this faith life out together. So make sure you subscribe, okay? I know that was a little light, but I believe in you. You got this, and I expect the Lord to do a new thing in you, okay? Subscribe. Make sure you look out for next week. All right?